The finals start tomorrow, and it's between the reigning defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning and your Montreal Canadiens, who defeat the Vegas Golden Knights in 6. Oh yeah, Tampa won in 7 over the Islanders, but that's not important. A rematch, technically, of the 2015 series between these two teams, where Tampa would win in 6. From there was also the 2014 matchup where Montreal would sweep, but that is a very different team because it was after that series in the summer that Tampa would draft Braden Point. That's before Kucherov, before Vasilevsky, and they're the monsters that we know now. The first finals appearance for Carey Price, the first final appearance for not Corey Perry. He's been there all the time. Back-to-back appearances for him, though. Third time in his career?
Third time, yeah.
For Shea Weber, his first time. The first time for Cole Caulfield, who just got here. Guys, once again, in this series, I'm going to get the exact moneypuck.com rate up here. The Montreal Canadiens are the underdogs. Stop me if you've heard this before. They have a 38.1% chance of winning the Stanley Cup. Familiar territory, but I feel like they can do it.
They have the golden ticket in Cole Caulfield.
I've got a golden ticket.
I'd be concerned if you didn't think they can do it.
It's nerve-wracking, man. You know, I was distracting myself all of yesterday. I'm trying to for like the whole weekend leading up to game 1. A buddy of mine texted me last night. He's like, "So you excited for Monday?" And my heart my heart rate just went unbelievable. I thought I was having a panic attack. No lie, like it was insane. If you had hooked me up to like one of those heart monitors, it's a beep 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 beep. It was terrifying.
I have to ask you something, Adam.
Sure.
As our on-site reporter, what is the atmosphere in Montreal right now?
I'll tell you, man. It's a mix of like obviously the Euros are going at the same time, so I don't imagine it's as crazy as Woodbridge, but one day you have after Italy wins and you got those guys honking. And then like a game day here is insane because you just have people lining up hours ahead of time for the game. I can't watch hockey if I'm not out there, which I don't want to be because I'm not fully vaccinated yet. I don't want to really take a chance. You have crowds going from all of Avenue de Canadien up Drummond towards St. Catharines. It is completely packed. If you don't have headphones on, you can hear the crowd reacting to the game. Every goal has almost been spoiled for me, except the overtime winner in Game 6.
Now you know how I feel.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how do you describe this weekend? Is it like the calm before a storm? Is it?
Yeah. It's you just kind of, and with that, I will put Do Not Disturb on. It is the mix of you start thinking to yourself, okay, they are 4 wins away from doing the thing. I'm not going to say it. But at the same time, they're 4 losses away from going home. I compared it at the beginning of before we started recording of you have lasted longer than any other team, you and your opponent. But if you lose, you go home with nothing. No one cares about the Clarence Bowl. No one cares about the Clarence Bowl.
No.
Unless you're Nashville.
Yeah, and then you're going to freaking hang a banner about it. Again, what is it Carey Price used to say? It's like, yeah, so we made it to a conference final once. They don't care about that in Montreal. You look at the Bell Center, there aren't these stupid divisional banners there. It's retired numbers and it's Stanley Cups there. It's a prestigious building, the Bell Center. It's first Cup final. Because remember, they were in the Forum when they lost one. It's something, man. I don't know how I'm going to react. Like, so Donald Hickney, the boys, they're having me on their pod on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
And they're excited for it. But I think that will be after game 2. So it's either going to be, it's a mix of, okay, Montreal will be up 2-0 or Tampa will be up 2-0 or it's a split. No matter what, there's going to be an extraordinary level of nerves. And I'm not ready for it. Like I've experienced first round losses, obviously, second round losses, missing the playoffs. But I don't think there is anything quite like what the feeling could be of your team losing in the finals. And I'm not ready for it. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Like it's a different feeling, like being in the Cup final. Not that I would know, but it's a different feeling. Like that's for sure. Like there's nothing like it.
It's within reach. That's what's
Right.
crazy. The thing, I'm not saying it. is within reach. Like 4 more wins. You got like 4, and you do it. You're like your name is immortalized. You're legends.
Yeah.
There's no better place to do it than Montreal. No better place to do it. It's going to be a long week, guys. It's going to be a long 2 weeks. No Saturday night games, by the way. What
I know, yeah, I didn't get that.
Here? How do you not have a Saturday night game for the finals?
Now you can't play the Elton John song.
We just thought that was a good idea. Like, I don't know.
Your night. Like, it's Saturday night is hockey.
Literally.
But getting to that point, Alex, what you said about, and Adam, what you said about, that feeling of being in the finals. For me as a secret Ducks fan, it is definitely different where, my home team is the Leafs. So I've never been alive to see them go to the finals.
Yep.
No, I was alive for the conference finals against Carolina, the early 2000s. But other than that, like, it's understandable because when I look back on when I was a little kid in 2003, like, I felt the loss of the Ducks losing, but that was so far away from me that even when they won in 2007, it's like I'm happy at my elementary school, but everyone else is like, well, are you happy like a California team won?
Yeah.
So I think like, yeah, geography and I guess like the general atmosphere of when people are just so dialed into the one team to what's going on for them in terms of location that it's so much more different.
When they lost in the first round to the Rangers in 2017, I was a wreck for a week. That was a first round exit. I don't know what I'm going to be like after this series if they lose.
I've been a wreck since whatever date Game 7 was. So
exactly. So
this is a connecting thing, but it's not a playoff thing. Yeah. Well, actually, it connects to a playoff thing, but it connects to what we're going to talk about right now, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So when the Ducks lost in 2017, they got swept in the first round by San Jose. I knew it was over because like a little over a month later, they bought out Corey Perry.
Yes.
And then, yes, that was what I was like, it's over. The window's done.
I mean, I think it was a little before that. He was falling off quite quickly. That's the guy who benefited from a change of scenery, though. Like, that's a very unique player now, Corey Perry. It's just, I think a lot of people had to kind of devalue what he was doing in the regular season. He wasn't amazing, but he was still a presence. Like, remember, he got into the lineup, and he was never out again. He earned a spot, man. So how did the Habs get there? And we'll go to Tampa. So you know what? Last episode, we kind of skipped over the Tampa Islander series, so we can start there before we talk about some of the stuff like Armia, Ducharme, Kucherov, and that. The Lightning in Game 7. Yanni Gourde, the short-handed goal to get that crowd going. A fun finish, but regardless, the Lightning, back-to-back years, beat the New York Islanders. Nassau will never see a game again from the Islanders. It's a damn shame. But they have the chance to do, in the cap era, something that's only been done once. That was by the Penguins. That's win back-to-back Stanley Cups. The Blackhawks never did that. The Kings never did that. But Tampa can be like that Penguins team.
Yeah, they're a dangerous force. Like, even if you think back to like the beginning of the season without Kucherov, we were still saying they're a tier above the top teams in the NHL. Like, just their roster alone. And one thing, and Jeff Merrick always brings it up on Hockey Central about, like, they're like the Islanders of the 80s where they can win in many fashions. Like, it's not just a scoring, like, high pace offensive game. They can slow it down. They can play rough and tough. Like, they can do a lot, and that's what makes them extremely dangerous.
I agree. Like, the way the Lightning are built is they have that chance to be a dynasty. When I look back on the Penguins, as the most recent example of how they were built, they had a lot of pending free agents. They had a lot of guys that were performing really well, but they were either veterans or they wanted to be paid. And that ended up happening also towards the expansion draft when they had to realize that they had to lose someone like Marc-Andre Fleury, where they really haven't been the same ever since. Or you look at the fact that they had to get rid of Trevor Daley, where, I know he got that ridiculous contract with the Red Wings, but he played top 4 minutes for them going to the playoffs. And when I look back on the Lightning, now, yeah, like cap hit like whatever with what they've been doing, being over the cap with everything. But with the players that they are going to keep, the players that they have been developing, it's just all these guys are in their prime or they're entering their prime. And it's what Alex said, like it's just a whole nother level with this Lightning team where when we talk about like the skill that's there, we look to the bottom six or even the bottom pairings of everyone where they could play that rough and tough. They could adjust, they could adapt to like whatever another team gives them. And I think in terms of defensively or in terms of trying to hold them to the outside, that's what the Islanders gave them, and they still were able to break through.
You look back at this in last year's Tampa team. If you think of the turnover, I mean, what they lost Bogosian. Okay. They still have like Shen. They still have that left side, which has former Montreal Canadian draftees like Sergachev and McDonough. That's going to be a freaking story. Can't wait for that. Thanks, Scott Gomez. But, you know, and then you look at the forward group, and it's almost kind of similar that instead of an injured Stamkos this year, we don't know how healthy Kucherov is. But beside that, they are more of the kind of team I think Montreal has been facing the entirety of the way. As in, they have lots of star power. They have an amazing goaltender. Some would say the best in the league. They've got some good defensemen. Like you look at the likes of Pietrangelo in Vegas. You look at a guy like Morgan Riley, Muzzin, and all those kind of guys along the way. We'll excuse the Jets, but they had an elite top six. The Jets, we all know that. The Habs have faced teams like Tampa all playoff round. They've neutralized them. However, Tampa this is such a cliche, but it works perfectly that I would say this iteration of the Tampa Bay Lightning is the most complete hockey team I've ever seen. There is no better way to have this cup final. And in recent memory, I would say, and is there biased? Of course, but you have the 18th regular season place team who was like 0-5 to end the year or something like that. How many firings in the regular season? Saying their goalie was cooked. I remember how bad Shea Weber was? And then they come back from 3-1 against a historic rival. Sweep in the second round against the Jets. Underdog against their former captain in the Vegas Golden Knights and Max Pacioretty. Beating some of the best goaltenders along the way, like Campbell, like Vasilevsky. Sorry, not Vasilevsky. Well, hopefully they do. But Fleury, a Vezina finalist. Leonard, who has previously been a Vezina finalist. But at the end of it, we have the underdog Habs, Cinderella on her way to the ball, and in her way, she's taking care of the ugly stepsisters. But now the evil mother is there. And it's the goddamn defending cup champs, $18 million over the salary cap, the guy who's going to win the Vezina, a Hart Trophy winner in Kucherov, a Rocket Richard winner in Steven Stamkos, a Norris Trophy defenseman in Victor Hedman, a probably future Norris Trophy winner with Sergachev, McDonough, who could probably win a Norris Trophy if they actually graded it properly on defensive play, a former captain in New York, by the way.
David Savard on their third pairing.
David Savard, Eric Serra, oh my God.
Look at one example. They are so good that they let go of friend of the show, Carter Verhaeghe. And look what he developed into in Florida.
But then it's like they got Ross Colton to fill in. They've still got, I think, like Matthew Joseph didn't even play.
Mitchell Stevens.
And then you look at, again, to add to the underdog story, on the other side, their opponents in Montreal, half of their team can't shoot right now because they're all hurt. Like, this is seriously, I don't think in the time I've been a hockey fan, we've had a finals that is so David versus Goliath. I don't think it's ever happened.
2003?
Daniel, in my time as a hockey.
Sorry.
I would have been like 3-4.
Okay. It's just the Devils were a dynasty at that time, and then the Ducks had like Jiger, Correa, and friends.
Yeah, Paul. I don't figure Paul Correa, be a pretty good player.
But I mean,
pretty sure he had some 50 goal years in there, right? Was that the year he like got like a game winner and he got knocked out and he didn't remember it?
Yeah, he didn't remember it, and then like I think 2 years ago at a Sportsnet interview, he talked about how like I that was probably the stupidest thing I've ever done in my career.
So think of it like this: they had Paul Correa, who what's his career stats like? And Montreal's best forward is a 20-year-old from Wisconsin. It's by the way, like man, what a year Cole Caulfield is having. Like another goal in Game 6. What is this?
He's just, I don't know. It's just, I think about it now where I've always been a bit hesitant about, even when they're top picks, these NCAAs coming in right away and then having these types of runs. But when I think about guys like Quinn Hughes or even guys like Cole Caulfield now who's brought it to another level, it's just, or even Cale Makar 2 years ago, it's just something about it now where it's, these guys are, they're primed to go. Like they're ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, the NCAA, it's a weird league, not a very likable league, but it produces, man. I mean, we saw that, like, again, Caulfield's draft year. That was the big American draft. There was Hughes in there. There was Spencer Knight. There was Cam York. Thanks, Philly. I love it so much, so much, so much, so much. I guess before we keep going here, I just want to one little stat to close out talking about the Habs here that I thought was really, really funny. Because getting the game-winning goal, and we're going to cover with the Islanders in Vegas and kind of what's next for them. I remember people criticizing the Gallagher line for not offensive enough. Like, they've obviously defensively been otherworldly. Mark Stone without a goal, amazing stuff. Pacioretty, 1 goal, amazing stuff. You on that Gallagher line, you have Gallagher, who, again, doesn't have a good hand, can't shoot. And then you have Danault and Lehkonen, who are statistically the worst finishers in the league, or among them. This is a little tweet I saw from Max Russo at MUS_99 on Twitter.
Not Alex Russo.
No, not Alex, not Justin.
Not Michael.
No. Lehkonen scored the series-winning goal last summer versus the Penguins. I forgot about that. The playoffs clinching goal this season and the series-winning goal versus Vegas to send Montreal to the final. Lehkonen, who I'm pretty sure in the overseas league he played, broke Daniel Alfredsson's point records. It was in one of the Swedish leagues or something in the playoffs. That guy, underratedly, scores big goals all the time. So let's look at who – do you guys want to look at the Islanders first, or would you like to look at the Vegas Golden Knights and what these teams?
Just one thing before we move on to those teams.
Sure.
And I want to say this last time, but I didn't have time.
Yeah.
Doesn't Justin Russo look like Jake Allen?
I think it's more the hair kind of puts it together. But
Or it's like the eyes. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's the hair. It's the hair.
Yeah.